Dad stays strong and not buying a game, though Jeff steps into League of Legends and will never be the same. The Steam Deck, while sick, may just be the thing, and Trevor embarks on a quest in Elden Ring.
The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. It's a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives.
My name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and that was an awesome poem.
Thank you. Just still holding true. It's still no ChatGPT.
Love it.
Real Trevor quotes.
All Trevor. All right.
That's really, and I'm practicing the. I'm showing like I was gonna get the beats going, and Jeff, but I didn't want to like spoil it for Jeff, so he's hearing me mumble. And then,
I mean, whatever you needed to get ready, I was here.
and the thought process, just I imagine, just like I show up here and I record at night. Like, why am I doing this? I could be asleep. I could be with my Steam Deck right now.
No, I love it.
Yeah, everybody, thank you so much for welcome for the show. Thanks for all the messages and comments on the podcast and to us directly and on the website. If you'd like to submit a story, if you have a story yourself, you just want to say hi, reach out to us on all the socials at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. And for anybody finding us, if you can subscribe or leave a rating on any of the shows, really helps out the gaming dads here as we try to get out to as many gaming dads as possible. Now, one quick funny sort of story in keeping with our year of no new games. So for any new listeners here joining this week, Jeff and I, at the suggestion of a friend of the show and fellow gaming dad and listener, had committed to not purchasing games this year.
Right.
Although we had extended that a bit to say no new games either, because there's just an absolute like tidal wave. I'm sure you're seeing it now too, Jeff, but there's just a tidal wave of like free available titles you can dip into.
Yeah, it's all over the place now that we can't. You know what I mean? Like now that challenge is there, of course, there's just waves upon waves of like, oh, those are the games I've waited for, and now they're free, and I can jump in.
Yeah. So it conspired to me like the wonderful temptation.
Yeah.
Did you play a game called Dredge?
I have it, but I have not played it.
Like, it's certainly within my ownership. I've never bothered to play it, of course.
No, yeah, it's somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, because so I had looked at this game and I had looked at it fairly fondly. Like it looked really interesting, cool art style, really well beloved. I almost get kind of like Faster Than Light vibes, but it's about inventory management and like slow unraveling of a mystery amongst basically dad tasks. I was like, oh, I got to go ship and like I got to go like dredge stuff out of the sea. So it's just like awesome, right?
I got to go clean up the ocean. I'll be back.
Classic dad weekend activities, right?
Yeah.
So Dredge I always thought it looked fantastic, but I'd never played it before, so it's off limits. And then lo and behold, it becomes available for iPhone.
Oh, okay.
Dredge, as the entire game, is now available on iOS devices.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, and that's one of those where, again, like it just cuts. You're like, damn, that would be such a great couple, 20-minute before bedtime type game on the phone. It's like, no. Now, I had been made aware of this from Reddit, and I'd click the link to go into the store just to see it. It's like, that's too bad, and I left. Inadvertently, I had clicked like pre-install, or like it's kind of like pre. It doesn't cost it. As best I understand, it's either I didn't pay for it. Is what I know. I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
But I had somehow pressed it. So I woke up the next morning and it's like, oh, I'll check my emails. What the? Dredge is on my phone. It is just right there on the homepage. It's like, hey, buddy, heard you said some nice things about me. Want to give me a little fun time? Yeah. Just staring me in the face. It's like, come on.
Wow. Even my hand slipped. It's installing. What
Oh
happened?
no, my thumbs are actively dredging the sea. Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm having fun.
Can't possibly get rid of this. I should jump in. Okay. All right.
I deleted it because I
Oh,
just like,
you
no,
deleted it. I thought you were
yeah,
gonna say you went in.
no,
Wow.
no, no, no.
Wow.
I stayed true because I'd literally seen it and said to myself, I'm like, no, other things to play. Let's not do this. And then, of course, it's just there. It is even on my phone. Bad enough that I had to see it and know that it existed and know what I'm
Right.
missing. But it's even like it is a tap away from gaming enjoyment. But I wanted to stay true to the cause here.
Wow, what the you have a lot of willpower. That is like staring you staring you in the face. Like absolutely no barrier to get into the game, and you
Mm.
still managed to escape the new game
Hey.
challenge.
Oh, so far so good. Staying strong, trying to do our best here. But now we are a week late in delivering the show, and that's because Jeff has been doing his best rendition of the plague from the from the dark times. So
Yeah.
now, and what I'm as most so firstly, just classic dad home life or family life where kids just bring in illness, I suppose. But
Yep.
I'm more curious to hear that, but more curious to hear what sick life was like or made better by your Steam Deck.
Yeah, I will say that, being sick is not fun, especially these days where, like, I think everybody went a period of time where you didn't get sick, everybody was masked up. So, again, it was just very rare. So now when you catch something, like, it hits like a
Mm.
brick. So I was out, and yeah, I apologize to all our listeners out there. It's on me. I was just not feeling it, still recovering from it. But the gaming dad good part of it was the Dr. Steam Deck that I got to cozy up on the couch. And, I've done this before with like, the PlayStation, and you have the controller in your hand. You're just kind of like under blankets and you play on the TV. There's something about having that portable device though, like close to you, and just like I can like just get super comfy and just be on my side and just play something.
Hmm.
I will always sing praises about the Steam Deck and just portability of it. And it really just shined when you're sick and you don't want to move. And like you can play all the games that at least I want in my backlog, right? That's what we're doing. So I was in, sick with whatever plague I had and playing, my medieval game where the plague is actually rampant. So just
You go to a
living the
witch
dream.
doctor. You go to a witch doctor in that game. It's like, oh, I got some fresh leeches. That might
Yep,
work. And
yep.
you're in such throes of fever. You're like, you know what? At
I'm gonna do it.
that might work.
Yeah,
Anything, please.
I'll try everything. Let's go. Yeah, no, but it worked out great. I did find that some of those games really chug on the battery, like they eat the battery really quickly.
Hmm.
So the portability is kind of lost on some of the bigger games, but nothing that a little Amazon little quick buy for an extra long USB cable to hook that sucker in. And then I just gamed on that for like a clear week.
Hmm.
And it was just, I would recommend it, not even just outside of sickness, but when you're sick, it just really comes into its own. And I used to do that with the Switch too, actually. So, like any portable device, I will recommend that you just, it's easy enough for gaming and it's so simple
Hmm.
just to flip through whatever you need to, especially your backlog when it's all just there,
Yeah.
right?
So I'm going to be calling out to, we had mentioned a fellow gaming dad that just was on the fence about purchasing and had just purchased it.
Yeah.
I need to reach out to find out how they're finding it. But in general, and I suppose you would confirm this, is that like this, it seems like they've cracked it. We were a generation that grew up on my beloved like Nintendo SP, but then there was
Yeah.
like Game
That's right.
Boys, and then we had made small forays into the PlayStation Portable PSP. Did you ever have a PSP?
I did. I had
Yeah.
the first one before the Vita. Yeah, I had the PSP. Yeah.
And it was so impressive, but for somehow just not, it just was not quite as fun and didn't quite capture. It wasn't quite there. And even the Vita was like just fascinating,
Yeah.
but almost as an odd, it just didn't strike the right notes.
Yeah.
And then we went to a place where it's like, okay, well, here you can just play on your phone. And it kind of scratches the itch, but it's not quite the same. But what feels like we might be coming around to, maybe this is hyperbole. I suppose, if anything, it's a desire, a wish to put into the universe. I almost hope that we are now going to enter into a new golden age of handhelds.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know what, like as much as we love our big gorgeous OLED screens, there's something to be said for cozy, small, intimate gaming. And between travel, between kids, between dynamic like houses and environments, like how fantastic is it just to have the device with you? So perhaps, and given the success of the Steam Deck, like maybe we are about to enter a golden age of the handheld.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Again, with Nintendo Switch 2 coming out and just continuing the same format, it seems to strike a chord with people, right? And I think even Xbox is developing some sort of handheld down the way. So more competition in that space is always a good thing as well, because the Steam Deck is a few years on. It will run what it can. It might need some tweaking with the newer stuff, but upgrades come down that path, and then this is what I'm doing now.
Let's do a really quick Trevor Google something segment.
Oh, I missed these.
Yeah, no. Trevor's gonna Google something.
Oh, you need a poem for this part, and we're Googling.
Is there any Steam Deck 2 announced?
Oh, no, yeah, they said it was a bit off.
Okay, so they say that, Valve has said that the Steam Deck 2 is in development, but there's no official announcement or specific specs. It's waiting for a significant performance improvement without sacrificing battery life.
Yeah, so the cool part about that though is that they allowed their OS to go out to other devices, so you can get the the Linux-based environment they've created with the Steam OS and put it on whatever else is out there. So they're open to competition, knowing that they've come first out of the gate, and really it's all Steam library games anyway, so they're getting a cut regardless. So like,
win.
Yeah.
That it might. Who knows? Maybe the Steam Deck 2 is the new Half-Life 3.
Oh, can you imagine?
It's always just beyond, but because there's so many other games flooding in this case, like handhelds are like, whatever. You're fine.
Just meh. Don't do that to me. It'll never happen. It'll never come to me. We'll all hope for it.
Oh man, that's good. I will say, okay, so this is a small misdirection. We might talk about Fortnite depending on that towards the end of the show, depending on the timing. But again, like Gaming Dad, friend of the show, on the Steam Deck cannot play Fortnite.
No,
right? So much like, and I think you found out, and we're also going to talk about League of Legends.
Yeah,
but they also can't play that, and that's because with Linux does not support the anti-cheat software you have to have installed to play these like online games. But what the Gaming Dad found was that doing game stream worked unbelievably well. Like he was completely stunned with how seamless it was. And I don't even think it's like officially even the like Xbox game streaming app. I think it's like in the browser even.
Oh right, yeah.
And even for that, like he said, like he couldn't believe it. And I can contest what I decided to try, like based on that review. It's like, well, let me fire up Game Stream on my iPhone, which goes through a browser. Again, like you cannot, there is no app on the iPhone, right?
Right.
So it's a browser-based thing, but I was stunned. Like there's something very specific about Fortnite, I think, that they pour in extra resources to, or that they've really optimized. Because famously, as like gaming dads will remember, Epic sued Apple.
Yeah.
Apple didn't like that, so they kicked them off of they kicked their game off of iPhones. Right. So now you can't get the native Fortnite on the phone. But Microsoft stepped up to the plate, seeing an opportunity, and decided to like, hey, you can just use our Xbox game stream service to stream it for free, even if you don't have Game Pass, to your phone. And I've had good success with game streaming, but every now and then you get like a lag. It's not 100%.
Right.
Fortnite felt like 100%. I could not believe how fast it was. So I get the impression that they put a lot of engineering around making sure that this game in particular is like incredibly optimized for this exact delivery.
I mean, that tracks if it was once on the phones and now not so much. But yeah, even just I stream like just PS5 games and stuff. I don't do the actual streaming service through the browser and stuff. But yeah, no lag, no nothing. Like just do what you want right to your portable device. It's just another option, right? We've talked about gaming everywhere. You
Yeah.
have all these options in the world. It's like you think back to your childhood, you'd be like, man, I wish I could just game in my room or in the car, and now you can't. Like,
Oh my god. If only I could game in my car, Papa.
yeah,
It'd be so great.
right. Instead of being the Game Boy with the side, like with the window
Oh
and
my
the street
god.
lights, you're trying to see everything. Yeah, yeah.
Go back to counting trees. So hey, gaming dads, are you experiencing something similar on the Steam Deck? Do you have Steam Deck stories? I would love to reach out to us. Tell us the stories at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. Now that almost in some ways buries the lead, because
Ah,
the listeners of the previous episode will remember that Jeff was sent off with a challenge.
Yeah.
Having watched Jeff and his kids had watched Arcane
Yeah.
on Netflix, the incredibly gorgeous, beautiful animated series about League of Legends.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe you'd actually like the game.
what
So
it's
he
supposed
was
to do.
yeah, so he was set off to try to play the game and more importantly see if he could like battle his kid in
Yeah.
League of Legends. So inquiring minds want to know, how did this League of Legends dad experience go?
Yeah, so a bit of a false start, just trying to
Not strong at the beginning.
well, just even to figure out how to install this thing, because
Oh.
on the Steam Deck, I think you alluded to it, it's just it doesn't work. The anti-cheat, I forget what they call it, Valiant or something like that. It doesn't compute with the Linux environment, and you can't do it. So I had to go to my old MacBook, install it there, which fine, not an issue, right? But I kind of wanted it on the Steam Deck. At least I have another like laptop that I could work with, whatever, right? So I get into this thing and immediately, like, when you step into a new game, much like Fortnite, let's say, you haven't been there for a while, and you're just overloaded with stuff. Like, it's just because they have, like, this game is what, 12, 15 years old. So like they have a lot of built up stuff, right? Like just the environment and the options and what's going on, and there is a store and microtransactions and all this other stuff, right? So it took a little bit of a learning curve to even just get in the game, but it
Oh
was
my. Okay, hold on. Just
it was just I had to do homework to get in there. I don't know.
so I'd like you to describe choosing a character.
Okay.
It's
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There are so many characters in this game. There are, I think you pulled it up. It's over, I think it was over 150.
170.
Yes.
170.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
There,
Like how would you possibly optimize and know how to play against 170 things? My God.
yeah, this is what I found out, Trevor, through my learning experience in League of Legends, is that not all characters are created equal, and they're not all created equal to go in all areas of the map that you're supposed to play. Apparently, there are certain pathways that if you choose a character that is more like, let's say, melee based versus ranger based or whatever, there are areas on the map that you're supposed to kind of go to collect. They collect territories almost, and then you go towards the other player at the other end, you beat up his base and you win, right? So being presented with 170 characters is a lot. It's a lot. And me just being a new gaming dad to this, coming off Arcane, just getting into the things, I took the tutorial and it gives you some characters like right away. It's like, hey, you can select some abilities. I think it gives you a free character, like enough coins or whatever their currency is.
Yeah, no, sorry. So all the players aren't unlocked at the
New.
beginning?
New.
Okay.
New. I think there's maybe, I want to say 12 to 15 that are unlocked. It's almost like one scroll. From what I remember, was one scroll of character portraits was unlocked. And then you had to play the game or buy the credits to get the other ones. So a lot of the other, like the currencies earned by playing, or there's ranked matches, but they're obviously worth more. And I think there's another alternative currency that buys you other stuff. So it's intense. There's a lot here. I will say that the characters aren't like, they're almost like cosmetic, right? So like, yes, they play differently. Yes, they have different abilities, but you're not going to necessarily win just because you have that one character. Lots of characters are easier to learn, but those are the ones they give you. So kind of like the higher level, like the more expert, complex things to work with
Hmm.
are the characters you have to unlock. So
Okay.
I guess if you play it for a while and you're a little bit more experienced, that's kind of, I don't know, progression, I guess.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot to get into it. Um, just a note, just quickly for gaming dads out there that want to step into League of Legends after watching something like Arcane. Don't pick the characters in Arcane because they are not good to work with. Found that out.
As in
um,
they're complicated. They don't win much. Like, what is the
yeah, like one is
not beginner
the
friendly?
so yeah, they're not really beginner friendly. One is melee character Vi. She is again up close and personal. You don't want that with
Mm.
people that know what they're doing. Even the AI that you can play against, they know what they're doing. You do not. You kind of want to stay back. So stuff like that. I will say that a lot of people warn me like don't play this game because
That's like, sorry. So first warning: hey, don't choose the characters from the cool show Arcane because they're kind
yeah,
of difficult to work with. Number
yeah.
two, maybe don't play the game. That was your second tip. It's a terrible tip, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah. I think we had some people on our Blue Sky account just comment, don't don't play this because one, it's addictive,
Mm.
which I will say I was playing good 4 or 5 hour stints in this game and I was kind of
Wow.
blown away that it hooked me that bad. I
Jeez.
don't know why. I've never played a game like this, but it kind of felt almost like StarCraft to me. It has
Hmm.
none of those elements of base building, but I got that vibe from it, and I don't know why, but I kind of went with it, right? The
Okay.
next the next kind of point is that the community can be very toxic.
Oh.
So people just call you out, kick you, whatever, because you don't know what you're doing. I
Hmm.
found opposite actually when I warned everybody. I was being a dad and apologizing in the lobby. I'm like, okay, sorry everybody ahead of time. I don't know what I'm doing. And they're like, no, 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 that's why you're here. Like you're like
Oh, that's
rank
nice.
1 or whatever. Yeah, no, we'll tell you what to do. So I learned from some of
Hmm.
those people.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's great. That's nice.
yeah, it was a good first step. I did take a screenshot of the scoreboard. I forgot to put it up, but I was dead last, man. Like I was such a weight to this
Of
team.
course you were.
Like not even close. Like I'm
Oh.
the one dying all the time. So it was an experience.
Yeah, I would
So
say I could see the StarCraft vibes because it is. I know you have your main character, so the control mechanism is a little bit different, but there are minions, and then
yeah.
like the clicking is definitely, especially if you've ever seen a high caliber StarCraft 2 player, like
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the amount of clicks are just absurd,
Yeah. They
right? So
micro manage everything. Yeah.
yeah, so to see like this many clicks and the constant like small decisions, I could see where that would scratch that itch.
Yeah. So I had a fun time with it. It is a lot. There's a
Mm,
lot to learn. I am by no means even scratching the surface of what this holds.
yeah.
But I have done a fair number of hours in this thing already, before I got sick, and then I kind of just set it aside. But I will try to get my 14-year-old on board because I said I was doing this, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, you'll never be, you'll never be an esports person. What are you doing?
Oh,
You're
excuse
too old
me.
for this game." I'm like, "Listen,
Oh,
listen.
oh,
Sounds like
the
smack talk."
insolence! My goodness,
Yeah.
so okay. So the you did not have a chance to play with your kid just yet.
No, no, they have installed it, but they have not
Okay.
played enough to get to an online match so that we can play together or against each other. Because you can do both. You can be on the same team or
Mm.
you can be on the other side. So we'll see how that goes down. I don't know. Maybe old dad will be too good for him
Yeah,
and
there
he
you go.
will want to be on my team. I don't know.
Dad, can you please just help me win? Oh, look who comes, a dear old dad, not
Oh
knowing how to
well, yeah.
play. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fascinating. All right, so you would go back to it. You would go and
Yeah,
play it again.
absolutely. And again, it's free to play. Obviously, you can pump money into it and get a whole bunch of characters
Hmm.
and cosmetics and stuff. But yeah, you can just try it out. If you don't like it, if it's not your thing, just uninstall. You're good. But I would totally recommend give it a shot. It never really looked like something I would like, but again, I get a good retro vibe from it, and it was just
Hmm.
fun to play. So would
Okay.
recommend.
That's fantastic, man. I just didn't expect it. Like,
I didn't either.
it's not you. It's just like there's like I just cannot expect the way you and I interact, the degree of gaming dads that you and I are. This felt just so foreign.
Yeah.
And so what a wild turnout. That's fantastic. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I hope Riot Games is listening because I want another season of Arcane. So they said this wasn't turning into new players, but I'm out there.
There you
What do you
go.
want? I'm out
You
there.
got one. You got one. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, you got your own League of Legends stories, or you want to pair up with Jeff and give him some tips,
Please.
hot tips to improve this dad? Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. So a bit of old school gaming conversation is that I beat Spider-Man. I actually beat a game. I can't.
You did it.
I honestly can't remember the last game I beat.
I was gonna say, what is the last game you beat? I think it's been a while.
Man, I really cannot think of a game that I've beaten in
Like
ages.
Marvel Snap, does that count? Like, do you beat it?
Never. You can't beat it. That's on forever.
Okay, all right.
I know for sure I beat Hades, like the first one, not the second that's out.
Okay, yeah, that's a few years ago.
Jeez, dude, I think I've been bouncing off so many these last couple of years that I just have not beaten any games. And Snap was my main jam,
right?
The previous year, so I think like I don't think I beat any games.
Something to celebrate then.
Oh, so boom, there it was. So we did it. So anyways. My God, like gaming dads, if you have not experienced Spider-Man, like try to get it on sale or through Steam or PlayStation like Plus, whatever you can. It's just like, my God, it's fantastic. I know it's old at this point. I know there's a whole second one, but even going back to that first one, like my damn God, like it is so good. I cannot, like the story, the gameplay, like how powerful if you get to feel like the swimming. Oh, sorry, by the way. For the final boss battle, I lowered it all the way down. Difficulty. I was like, I was ready to be done.
Yeah.
It's like I've played a lot of this. I think I even got like 85% completion. Like I played a lot of the game.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's one of those moments where it's like the last boss, like where he's at.
Yeah.
And I'm doing some side mission stuff, and I just got to that point. It's like, you know what? That's okay. That's enough. That's done.
Okay.
But I'm also not that particularly good at gaming, so it's just like lower it all the way down. I know this final boss is gonna be hard. I'm not great at this game. I just want to beat it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was so great to just be able to go through the motions of the final. It's not like it's baby mode in the sense that like I could just do whatever I please, but it's definitely super easy. It's not like I was not gonna, unless I was trying to, I was really not gonna die. But it still presented there's enough of it that there was still the tension. You know what I mean? Not because it's like, oh my God, I could die in any moment because this is so hard. It's like, well, this is clearly easy mode. But even so, just with the way they presented it, it was still, there was an intensity to it. It was like amazing.
Yeah, there's some quick time events in there, I think, too. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. So you went easy mode, beat Spider-Man. So you go on Spider-Man 2 or
no? So as I had queued up here on the screen, for those watching us record live, it's like, well, now that I'm a good top tier gamer, I should just beat Elden Ring, because clearly, like it must have easy mode, right?
Yeah,
like all games have easy mode, right? Elden Ring,
that's what it's known for.
So I had previously played Elden Ring. I'd put a cheat in at some point just to jack up my runes, so I could become incredibly high level, try to make things easier. Which you can do that all you please. Like you're still gonna die. Like, even at top level, like they will still just like wipe you off the map.
Yeah,
if you're not careful with how you approach folks.
Right.
But I dropped not dropped it. I just got onto different games. But the entire time I'm finishing Spider-Man, Elden Ring for some reason was the one that was just top of mind.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was thinking about it. It's just like, man, I want to get into this. Like this looks like so much fun. I want to get back. I remember how much I enjoyed it. The true sense of adventure that I felt stepping into the world where it's going to be like anything can happen here. We got to like figure this out.
Right.
So it did. And like dive back in. It is amazing. It is awesome. I started a brand new games file. So I wanted to throw out what I had done before.
Right.
And just see if I can kind of like start fresh and start from scratch. So I've been watching tutorials, like just to try to guide me around. I'm trying to avoid this. These are the this is the step by step what you have to do to beat the game. That
Okay, yeah, I see what
I'm,
you mean. Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid like the optimal path so that I can kind of move around and just enjoy it. But
Yeah.
when I come to a boss like that, I'll try it a few times, but often I'll look at it like a guide online to try to figure out, okay, this is how you defeat this boss.
Yeah,
Just
and that's sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, just to keep the effort like, somewhat time boxed.
No, totally. And I would just I was gonna add just part of the lure of Elden Ring was just like wandering around and then figuring out very quickly, like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here yet, right? Like, but some of the bosses or some of the enemies where you think that like are actually perfect for your level. There's just a way to do it. So sometimes I would recommend just going online and be like, hey, this area, am I like what level or what kind of stuff should I have to be in this area? Because some of them are like overly difficult when there's like, poison or whatever floating around. And you're like, well, how do I make this easier? Like, am I supposed to be here or am I not? Like, am I actually just making it harder for myself? Because Elden Ring won't tell you. They'll just be like, okay, you want to go to the final boss? Okay, go for it, there, champ. Let's see how you do.
Good luck.
Yeah.
No, so just been great. Like it's just my word. Like I cannot believe this game exists. Seems to be like a common refrain from me. Like it's as if I've been birthed into the world just yesterday, or came out of a cryo sleep
Yeah.
for like 20 years. It's like, what are games like? Is there a new Mario? And then someone hands me it's like, what is this? I can't believe the size of the world. But
you can portably game your PC now. Look at this.
In your hands.
Oh, it's amazing.
But yeah, absolutely loving it. So that's the next one. I'm curious if I would stick with it to beat it.
Yeah.
Because it's not entirely uncommon for like lovers of this game to this is the game that they play. So there's like they have like 1,000 hours in it type of thing. I'll be curious if I could stick with it, because if it gets just what I would consider like asininely difficult, like would I bother to like get good enough to beat it? And then B, just like the scope and the size of it. Am I going to get? I don't want to say like bored's not the right word, but it's like that's kind of enough of this.
Yeah, it is quite big. Again, I spent probably 100 hours in that sucker. Just I took my time with it, and I didn't necessarily know where to go. But you don't have to do everything in it either. It's more about that exploration. But yeah, I would give it a fair shake. But there are some in-game events that are pretty cool that change the world. So to experience those and then maybe just call it after, you'll know.
You'll
be like,
you'll get it.
But even you jumping back into this makes me want to jump back into the DLC. I never finished it, right? I was a few hours into it, or tens of hours into it.
Was there already one DLC and there's more DLC, or it's only like there's only been one DLC?
One DLC, and it's basically like an entire game. I don't know why they call it DLC. This is huge.
That's like the Erd tree, is it?
Yeah,
or
Shadow of the Erd tree. So
that just rolls off your tongue,
Yeah, right.
Erd tree.
Erd tree. Yeah, it's again intense, and I need to go back and complete it. Now that you showed me this, I'm like, well, maybe I do need to get back into it. Maybe Trevor's inspiring me. So
it's just so good. It's just like that. I'm trying to think about like there's something about I almost wish it was more accessible, but perhaps the lack of accessibility is why it's so great. But what I mean by that is just like I cannot overemphasize the sense of wonderment and adventure you get to feel with this one. Like, and I'm sure like you felt it's just like the world is huge. Like there's so much reward for just like, I'll just go. I see a castle in the distance. I'm just going to go there. And it's like, oh my God, it's a whole thing. And there's like 16 layers below the surface. And there's like this crazy lore story.
Yeah.
Like the world is just bustling with heaps of interesting events and people and stuff. And there's always somewhere to go and check out. And I find that it really respects your time because it's vast, but it's not vast like a Ubisoft game where it's like, okay, I'll let you walk in the desert for 5 minutes with nothing. Like every nook and cranny of this thing is just jammed full with stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so like,
totally.
Man, so anyways, it's just like that sense of wonderment. Like I can't, besides, again, the only one I can compare it to is like Ocarina of Time, Nintendo 64, coming from like 2D systems launching into the first 3D one, and you walk into the meadow for the first time. And you can just go everywhere. You're like, what is this? This is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, again, this hooked even just me originally with my kids watching, right? Like, or at least my youngest, who helped me through it. But just the wonderment of just them like, what's around that corner, Dad? And then immediately it's a death trap. But
It's a
like
dragon.
it's fun dying in this game. Again, it's pretty lenient on like save points or graces.
Yeah.
They're pretty plentiful versus their old stuff.
Yeah. And then you can also fast travel at any point.
Yeah.
There's no cost. You could just jump around to anything where you saved. Like,
yeah,
it's difficult, but they really respect the player. And I think that's why it makes it Dad. And maybe that's just part of it too. It's just like, here's this huge, massive world, but we respect you and your time. And like, you can get good enough to just beat it with like nothing if you wanted to, or you can just grind it out and figure it out.
Yeah, again, either way. However many dad hours you want to put into it. Be your game until Grandpa Dad Gaming. Who knows?
Yeah. The game save file that I'll pass on to my kids.
In your will, like beat it for Dad, please. Come on, beat the game.
They look at it, it's like, this was your file? You're so bad at this game. Like, what are you doing?
At least my kids would. They'd be like, what are you doing? You're not min-maxing your stats at all, Dad. What
are these rookie numbers? Like, you put it into vitals, like vitality, everything, or what are you, mental?
Yeah, no, they would totally tell me immediately.
Oh, gotta love it. All right, let's wrap it up there for the week, everybody. This has been New Dad Gaming. Thank you so much for listening. As we say, do you have an Elden Ring story? Did you have a particular fondness for the Steam Deck during a particular time in your life when it came in handy? Are you a League of Legends player who wants to help out dear old Dad Jeff figure out how on earth to smoke his younger kid? We'd love to hear all these things and more. Interact with the listeners here is one of the favorite parts. So do reach out to us at New Dad Gaming on all the socials, Blue Sky, Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you can find us. And otherwise, from our website, you can email us there, newdadgaming.com. If you did like the show, what really helps us out is going over to any of the major podcasting networks. So we're talking Google, Spotify, Caster, iTunes, anywhere where you get your podcast, search for New Dad Gaming. A subscription really helps, and even more so, a rating and a comment helps to blast out the Gaming Dad podcast to everybody else out there, all the other gaming dads. All got to start our own little League of Legends leagues. Legends League. Oof, that just rolls off the tongue. League of Legends League. What do they call the professional one? There's no way they call it the league.
They might. Oh, I don't know. Leagues. I play League. I think that's what they say.
I played
what they say. What those young kids say.
You'll get there. You'll be in the top tier. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, we'll see where we end up. Again, once everyone, thanks for listening. Until next week. My name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old and 11-year-old and a League of Legends account.
Crank it up, buddy. Get all 170. Got to collect them all.
That's
your new Pokemon.
Oh, there you go. It's perfect.
Remember, everybody, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.